So I just received a new chess set that is a repro from the 1970 with distress white pieces, and I thought the way to use a Soviet chess set is through watching games from the Soviet championships. In this case, we start this book with the fourth championship that was held in Moscow between 4 and 24 of October 1920. It was won by Alekhine, obviously, obviously, with 12 points out of 16. Now, the second was Romanovsky, that was new as a middle game treatise. Romanovsky wrote this great book about the middle game. So the book was written by Bernard Cafferty and Mark Taimanov. I thought it was Andrew Soltis because he has written extensively lately on the Soviet and Russian chess. So the first game is Nikolai Grigoriev versus Alexander Alekhine. If I'm not wrong, this Grigoriev should be the one about studies and endgames. He wrote some interesting endgame books. So let's see. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6. Obviously I wanted to try immediately this new chess set, that's why. Bishop B5, Knight G, E7. This is an interesting move. Alekhine's opening repertoire was unusually wide and he often adopted unusual variations. Sometimes was condemned by theory, always bringing in original ideas. D4. However, the book by Bernard Cafferty, well, Cafferty is famous also because he published a book about Boris Spassky, if I remember well. Let me pause the video. Yes, I was right. Bernard Cafferty also published a book about the 100 best games by Boris Spassky. A very interesting book. Okay, so let's return to this one. So D4, this straightforward move does not pose any problem. Nowadays they play 0-0, okay. Nowadays they would castle, okay. Now, I would like to write the introduction to the game, since the game opens our chronicle of the best creative efforts in the USSR championship. It is symbolic that the honor of victory belongs to Alekhine. He was the fourth great Russian player of the 20th century. 20th century means, because they obviously say Chigorin was the greatest Russian player probably of the 19th century, and one of the founders of our chess school. He was then only at the start of his illustrious career, but the basic feature of his talent showed up already: his amazing positional sense, his inspired attacking skills, and his unlimited imagination. Now it's interesting that this was written maybe by Taimanov, because Alekhine was labeled as a Nazi collaborator, I think, and so they didn't want him as one of the Russian founders of chess, because obviously during World War II the Russians suffered tremendously under the fight with the Nazi, right? E takes d4, knight takes d4, g6. This is interesting, because you see, he closed this, right? So this cannot be developed, and so he finds a way to develop in this diagonal. That's really interesting. bishop g5, bishop g7, c3. Here comes the concession for his pseudo-active bishop move. The knight loses access to the natural square at c3. Okay, so this cannot be developed here. h6, bishop h4, castle, castle, and the knight takes d4. Alekhine always fought in concrete fashion. This exchange creates a target in the center and enables black to seize the initiative. C takes d4, c6, bishop c4. Here the bishop is on a poor square, where it enhances the strength of black's planned central break. However, there was no better move, as other retreats are met by the awkward reply g5. Yeah. Okay. So g5, bishop g3, d5. So here in the book they show that this move is not really good, okay? Because white would play bishop d6, rook e8, and then boom, queen f3 attacking f7, okay? So that's interesting. Yeah. So queen b6 not good. d5. E takes d5, knight takes d5. Bishop e5, bishop e6, and knight d2. So here it seems that black is preparing to create something dangerous, and white should have exchanged the pieces. f6, bishop g3, queen b6. Just a second, because like always they put something annoying. Okay, now we can continue. Because Windows strangely can always find the most annoying moment to give you a notification. I don't know why. Probably they do it on purpose. Okay, queen b6 was the move, attacking here, and white plays rook e1, rook f e8, and now there is a mistake by white, that is knight e4. Once again, too optimistic, the threats knight d6 or knight c5 look strong, but strange as it may seem, the move is a definite mistake, which black duly demonstrate. White had to play knight b3 instead. f5. Knight c5, bishop f7, bishop d6. There is no better move against the threatened f4, so practically it was going to trap the bishop. Queen takes b2, bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, and rook b1. White's last chance is to go for active piece play, but Alekhine had foreseen this. Queen takes d4, It is instructive to see that black has work upon both weak pawns. Rook takes b7. At last white seems to have gained some counterplay, but the following blow shatters all illusions. So if you want to learn something at this point, you need to pause the video, put this on your chessboard, or just watch the board from this and find what is the move that Alekhine played. Okay? Queen g4, a tactical stroke typical of Alekhine, transferring play from one side of a board to another with inexorable mating threats. Okay, so why this move is so good? So queen takes g4, rook takes c1, checkmate, right? What else could he play? g3, queen h3, takes, queen f1 to avoid the checkmate on g2. But now can you see what black would play? Because this is the reason why Alekhine saw everything. The move, so pause the video, try to find the best move for black, and I will show it to you. The move is boom, rook e1. He cannot play this because the rook would take the king, so he can only play this, and this is the end. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, I think I put the thing right. f3, bishop d4, check, king h1, bishop takes f3, and white resign. So why did white resign? Let's see why. Let's say rook takes e8, rook takes e8, g takes f3, and now boom, once again. Okay, and of course now there is the checkmate, because this is control. This is a beautiful game by Alekhine, and it's just 25 moves, so it's a kind of miniature. So let's see, the second championship was in Petrograd, but it wasn't won by Alekhine because Alekhine didn't play. But it was won by Romanovsky, but it's also very important theoretician. But like I said, he wrote this middle game book. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the new chess pieces repro from the 1970s with a game from the Soviet championships.